Now, let's get some analysis. We are joined via Skype by constitutional law expert and director of accountability, Advocate Paul Hoffman. Advocate, thank you so much for your time. Perhaps let's get your reaction to this judgment. It has been hailed as unprecedented, as historic. Talk to me about just the significance of this judgment today.
I think that the ultimate significance of the judgment is that the Constitutional Court has held fast to the rule of law. The supremacy of the Constitution has been asserted, and the independence and impartiality of the court is also now firmly in place, despite the serial delinquency of former President Zuma. That is a cause for celebration. But it's also sad that a former head of state find himself at the age of 79 in the position to which Mr. Zuma has brought himself as well. I very seldom agree with Jimmy Manye, but he was on the television earlier today saying that he thinks that this is a sad occasion. I agree with him, perhaps not for the same reason that he puts up. He suggests that there is something wrong with the opinion of the majority of the judges. And in fact, the opinion of the majority of the judges in the Constitutional Court is what the Constitution means, and that is a direct consequence of living in a constitutional democracy under the rule of law, in which human rights are justiciable by the courts. The Constitution means what the majority of the court says it means. In this case, it has resoundingly found that Mr. Zuma is in contempt of court and deserving of punishment that has been meted out to him.
Advocate, the sound is not really great, but let's see if we can press on. Now, we know that there were two judgments here, essentially, with one being a minority, and there seems to be some contention there. Maybe talk to us about and unpack what some of these disagreements were, if we can call it that, between, or at least that afforded us to have those two judgments.
Yes, the two judges, Jafta and Tehran, making up a minority of 2 out of 9 judges, took the attitude that they would not use the occasion of civil proceedings to punish a civil litigant for the contempt of court that everybody agreed had occurred. So it was a rather technical and procedural approach to the matter. And because they're in the minority, their opinion does not hold sway in our law.
Now, in the analysis, a lot of analysts have been saying, that this is unprecedented. It's never happened before, especially when we are speaking about a former president. What are some of the routes that the former President Jacob Zuma could take now? We know that this is an unappealable case.
Yes, if I was advising Jacob Zuma at the moment, I would be having a very close look at the regulations that govern the activities of the parole board. We know that Mr. Zuma is 79 years old. We also know that he has what are called COVID comorbidities and has not always enjoyed the best of health. So he may be well advised to seek medical parole, or if not medical parole, then simply normal parole when he has served the the minimum of its custodial sentence of 15 months.
You talk about if you were advising the former president, and a lot of questions have been raised in terms of how has he been advised by his legal counsel up to this point. I mean, if you can just take us through just some of those decisions that have led him here.
Yes, I think that the fundamental mistake that was made after the recusal application that was directed at Judge Zondo is that no application to interdict the Zondo Commission from continuing against Jacob Zuma while his review is pending was ever launched. Now, it's possible that that was done for technical reasons because the advocates representing Mr. Zuma realized that they had a weak case for an interdict. But if they've got a weak case for an interdict, then they've also got a weak case for a review. So the correct or normal procedure when a recusal application by a commission is refused is to seek a temporary interdict to prevent the proceeding continuing with Mr. Zuma's participation while a judicial review is pending. That wasn't done in this case, and that left Mr. Zuma in the position that the contempt proceedings could be launched at the end of last year, and then when he did not respond to the order that he appear, the current proceedings would now led to his custodial sentence.
Now, we know he's been given 5 days to present himself to a police station of his choice between the two that were, advised by the justices. What happens after 5 days? So we know that after 5 days, the SAPS is then called to take action. Should he not want to present himself legally, what is the next step?
The information that I have off the online media is that his family has said that he prefers to be incarcerated near home. And I think that the nearest prison to Nkandla is Escort, and that he will, in fact, present himself to the Nkandla police to be taken to the Escort prison to serve his time.
Well, that's...
So, if he changes his mind, and he decides that he doesn't want to simply volunteer to comply with the order of the court, then the police get sent to arrest him. That's what happened.
Now, a number of things that we know about former presidents is that they do enjoy some sort of benefits. What will happen with the former president, Jacob Zuma? Will he lose some of those benefits as a president?
No, that's not part of the punishment for the contempt of court. The only punishment that has been meted out by this court is the custodial sentence of 15 months and the punitive costs award, the attorney-client costs award that has been made against him. It is possible that the fitness for office of Mr. Zuma will be questioned in Parliament later, and that he could forfeit his pension as a consequence of that type of proceeding. But that proceeding has not even started. It may not even be under contemplation. But his punishment for the contempt of court is confined to what the Constitutional Court has ordered. There may be other consequences further down the line. He's also an ex officio member of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, but because of, not only because of the conviction, but also because he is facing criminal proceedings on the 19th of next month, he ought to step aside from participation in the activities of the National Executive Committee of the ANC. That will be discussed by the ANC at its Lekgotla this weekend.
Absolutely. Well, Advocate Hoffman, thank you so much for your time. That was constitutional law expert and director of accountability, Advocate Paul Hoffman.